a very good evening. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Kritsween Walia. Viewers, just days after the tragic Dreamliner AI-171 in Ahmedabad crashed, a string of mid-air technical glitches have raised serious aviation security and safety concerns. It's also left the flyers anxious to an extent. Multiple aircrafts, including Boeing 787s, also Airbuses, have reported these technical snags, which has also forced emergency turnbacks or long delays. Let's take you through some of these instances in particular and visual evidence that's also come in on the same. This is the Air India San Francisco Mumbai flight. It was grounded in Kolkata. Kolkata is where it was supposed to make a scheduled stopover. But upon encountering this technical issue, passengers were deplaned as a precaution. That's the first instance. You can also see passengers making their way out of the plane while taking out their luggage. Smoke was detected emanating from the left side wheel of a Saudia plane. That's the second such instance that's come to light, once again triggering a lot of panic. Now, this airline also had about 250 passengers on board besides the crew. So after it landed at Lucknow's Chaudhry Charan Singh International Airport from Jeddah, this is the kind of technical issue that it developed or it encountered, and following which people were asked to get off the plane. They were disembarked alongside the crew. Not just this, another such instance we've picked up in the last few hours alone. This is a British Airways flight. It suffered a technical snag. This flight was en route to India, to New Delhi, London to India, had turned around mid-air. So it was airborne for about 2 hours when it suffered a flap failure with technical issues surfacing in quick succession. This is what we've picked up, a quick glimpse of how that technical issue looked. This is a British Airways flight, but do remember this was also a Boeing 787, the same Boeing 787 model that crashed in Ahmedabad. Like I said, these instances coming to light in quick succession has raised a couple of questions. Aviation authorities are now facing growing pressure to review aircraft maintenance and operational checks as well. Let's talk about some other issues that some of these airlines have developed and how all of this, viewers, has happened right after 12th of June. 12th of June is when the Ahmedabad crash took place. On the 17th of June, Ahmedabad-London Air India flight cancelled due to technical issues. This happened earlier today itself, and we spoke to one of those passengers who was scheduled to take this flight. They were informed about this technical issue once they had reached the airport minutes before the flight were to take off. Prior to that, 16th of June, Air India flight suffered a technical snag. Passengers were asked to deplane in Kolkata. Like I said, this was a scheduled stopover, but upon encountering a technical issue, the passengers were asked to get off the plane. Again on the 16th, the very same day, Hong Kong Delhi Air India Dreamliner. This once again was a Boeing 787. It returned, it took a U-turn, went back to its point of origin, which was Hong Kong, after encountering a technical glitch. Even before that, on the 15th of June, London Chennai British Airways Dreamliner that we were just talking about also returned mid-air. This was airborne for about 2 hours, and once it encountered a technical snag, the pilot, obliging the established protocol, went back to the point of origin. 15th of June, once again, a Zurich Delhi Air India Dreamliner 787 delayed after developing a technical issue. Saudia flight that we just showed to you also faced landing gear issue at the Lucknow airport, and clearly you could see on the left wing of the plane a smoke coming out, which was then addressed by the technical team that reached the runway to address the issue. These are some of the incidents that have taken place in the last few days alone. Going across to Anvit Srivastava for a quick update on the same. Anvit, any formal communication that's come in from the Aviation Ministry? We do know about that all-important meeting that was being held by the DGCA. Some of these airplanes which have encountered a technical issue are Air India Airlines. Any communication formally that's come in from the airlines? What more do we know about this repeated recurrence?
See, Kritsween, if you talk about past 1 week or let's say 3 to 4 days per se, multiple Air India flights have experienced returns, technical snags and crew duty delays, specifically since the deadly Air India plane crash that happened on June 12th. The airline is certainly facing intense scrutiny, specifically after the Boeing Dreamliner 787 crashed moments after taking off, and 241 passengers had to lose their life out of 242 that those were on board. But the most recent being the, like you mentioned, the Gatwick-bound Air India flight AI 159 from Ahmedabad. It was the first flight after the Ahmedabad crash, the first Ahmedabad to London flight. It was, and that also was cancelled. However, the airline has said that it was cancelled because of aircraft unavailability. Because you were talking about what communication has been there from the airline. So they have communicated that it was because of aircraft unavailability following airspace restrictions, is what they have said. See, the technical snags have been a repeated issue because before that, yesterday it was AI 315 Hong Kong to Hyderabad flight that took off from Hong Kong around 12:30 p.m. local time, and it had reached a height of 22,000 feet before descending, and it had to make a U-turn returning to Hong Kong International Airport following a technical glitch. Now, this was a Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft, and so was the British Airways flight that you also mentioned that was coming from Heathrow to Chennai and had to return to its base for technical checks. But other than these, Air India flights from Phuket to New Delhi also had to make an emergency landing. However, this was because of some bomb threat that was one of the messages found in the laboratories. But see, following such repeated incidents, the regulatory authorities are also on alert, and DGCA has also held a meeting with the Civil Aviation Secretary and other senior officials, and also of the senior airline officials, representatives who were there in the meeting. And certain measures have been talked about and they've been discussed at length as to how these incidents can be reduced. But alongside the DGCA and DGCA, the UK and US authorities have also launched probes and ordered a comprehensive inspection of not just Boeing 787 fleet, but also the other aircraft that have been involved in recent incidents. But also one thing we need to understand that these have been technical glitches is what the term that is being used by the airlines. But this is an umbrella term. A lot of technical snags would come under it, be it flap related, be it wings related, be it fuel contamination or fuel supply related. It could be power related, nose wheel related. So there are multiple issues in an aircraft, and the technical snag is an umbrella term. Depending upon what is the magnitude of the snag, the flights are grounded. Many flights that have been asked to return, they have also been done precautionarily following the Ahmedabad
these
crash.
issues being addressed now that it's happened. Fortunately, no lives have been lost. Nobody has been hurt in these incidents. But there are U-turns that have been taken by some of these flights. They've returned to their point of origin. Proper delays that have happened. A lot of inconvenience has most certainly been caused. Done with. How is that being addressed by each of these airlines concerned? Any established protocol in place or announcement that's come in to address this issue?
I was coming to that, Kitsun. Once such planes are grounded following technical snag, which is an umbrella term, but after the specific glitches are addressed, they are asked to return to base and for detailed checks. Once the plane is grounded, they are usually sent to secluded bay for a detailed inspection by technical staff and experts.
Okay, apologies, Anvit. I'll have to interrupt you there. We're picking up related news. We need to quickly